I read exclusively on my Kindle, and this is why you should too. This is my first time using a microphone, by the way, so I don't know if this is gonna turn out well. And also, this video is kind of rant. It's not like a factual video, so this is just my personal experience on why I love reading on my Kindle and why I exclusively read on it. This is in general for like all e-readers. Obviously, I just own a Kindle, so that's why I'm talking about that in general. But I've been reading on my Kindle Paperwhite for about a year now, and I've always been like a physical reader. I would go to the library in the past, and I loved reading physical books. I used to be like, I would never read on an e-reader. Like, I don't understand people who do that. And then I don't know, I woke up one day and I decided I want to get an e-reader, and I've never stopped reading on it ever since. So if you are a physical book girly and you said before in the past, I don't think I could ever switch, I feel like maybe you should reconsider. Maybe you should get an e-reader, try it out, because I definitely think that getting a e-reader changed my reading game, because I've read so many books on my Kindle in just like a year. I think it's been over 100 books. With me in general, there are kind of three things that prevent me from reading, which is time, space, and money. When it comes to time, I used to read from the library. That was my main source of where I got my books from. And I would go to the library like once every 3 weeks and borrow a bunch of books. But because I moved really often, my local libraries changed, and unfortunately at this point I don't even live close to a library, so it's really hard for me to access my old library, which I absolutely loved. But if I borrow a bunch of books, I probably won't even have time to finish all of them. And I feel like even going to the bookstores, this is again a personal thing, but bookstores are so far away from me. They're all the way in the city, and to go to the city, it takes up to an hour. And I know personally I wouldn't buy any books. Even when it comes to, I guess, buying books online, there's nothing fun about that. Like, I'd rather go in person, and I'd rather be able to access books on my Kindle straight away than having to wait till I go and buy something. So owning the Kindle is just, as I mentioned before, very easy and convenient, because you have a device which contains all the books that you want to read, which is just easy to come back to. And there are definitely a lot of books that I've read that I probably wouldn't have been able to access in my library. I also think that the Kindle is just more accessible in general. Sometimes when it comes to books, they can be very thick and heavy. For example, Kingdom of Ash. I love Kingdom of Ash. I love the story, but I own that book, and it's such a fat book. And to be honest, if I haven't read it already, I would have cried just seeing the amount of pages that it has, because thick books are pretty intimidating. And I feel like owning a Kindle is less pressure. I don't know how many pages it is. I cannot see my progress in terms of pages. And even if we have the percentage and everything, like, I can just turn it off. Like, I don't need to look at how many percentage I have read. And holding a book physically can be it can hurt sometimes. I feel like sometimes it cramps my hand. And depending on how and where I read it, it does get a little bit annoying. I just feel like with a Kindle in general, you have more flexibility. It's basically just like holding your phone. I hold my Kindle like this, I lay in bed. I probably read the Kindle in ways that you shouldn't read it, but I also have a stand for my Kindle, and I have a page turner, which is also something that is really cool. And whenever I read books while eating dinner, I also have a stand that I literally just put the Kindle against, and then I just like turn the page while I'm eating. And I feel like that is very convenient, because when I used to read and eat in the past, like, it would just never work out. Mainly because it's dangerous, because I shouldn't touch books when my hands are dirty, or, I'm flinging food around. But obviously, it's just a bit difficult to turn pages while you're in the middle of eating. Being able to enlarge the font size is also really important. I don't know if you can tell, but I have really bad eyesight if it's not obvious from the glasses. And sometimes books have very small text, which is sometimes really annoying. And I like that the Kindle, obviously you can make the text a lot bigger, which is really helpful for me so that I don't strain my eyes. I think my text size is, I think, 5 or 7. Yeah, my text size is 7, which is pretty large, but it's very good for my eyes. And it also doesn't make the text blur together, if that makes sense, when it has very small text size, and then it just feels like all the words are blurring together. Also, different fonts. They have a bunch of different fonts on the Kindle. You can also import your fonts, which I've never done that, but they also have a dyslexic font, which is very, very useful because obviously regular books don't do that. So this is what I'm just saying in general. The Kindle is so accessible for everyone, and it's just easier to use in general than physical books sometimes. The second thing is space. I have been moving a lot and I own quite a few physical books, but they're on boxes right now because it's just really difficult to unpack them, keep packing them, and to be honest, I don't really read them anymore. And I actually had to unhaul a lot of books because I was looking at my bookshelf and I only have one shelf, and there was no way that all the books that I owned at the time would have fit on the shelf when I moved. So as of right now, I only really own the books that I very much cherish, such as my favorite series, but even now I don't think I would go back and reread them physically because honestly, I just feel like, I don't know, I feel like I cannot go back to reading physically, which is kind of scary to say, but space is definitely a thing because if I bought every single book that I wanted to read, I would not have the space to keep them all. And it's just easier to have them, again, all in one device. Literally, I have different collections for my Kindle where I put books in different places, such as I have my uncollected books, DNFs, books that I've read, TBRs, currently reading, and this collection that I call On the Bookshelf, which is basically books that I would not delete off my device. The amount of storage you also get on your Kindle is a lot. I think I have like 4 or 5 gigabytes and I still have a lot of space. And it's crazy that the space on the Kindle has like increased. I saw that the Kindle, they sort of like 6 gigabytes. And I'm kind of like, I don't think anybody needs 6 gigabytes, but like good for them, I guess. The files for EPUBs in general are like pretty tiny, so that's also what I like, how it doesn't take a lot of storage when it comes to your Kindle, and you can possibly own like a bunch of books and it would still never run out. And the last thing is money. I know that in a lot of different countries, there are certain books that, people can't actually get because maybe it's like in a different language or something like that. With me as well, there are certain books that I guess unofficially translated from another language. For example, there are Korean light novels or Chinese light novels, which I obviously cannot read because I cannot read Korean or Chinese, but because other people have translated them and I can access EPUBs of them. Okay, that has nothing to do with money. But there are also things such as Kindle Unlimited, which is definitely a lot cheaper than buying a bunch of books physically because you can access a bunch of books in the Kindle Unlimited library for a certain amount of money, which is kind of equal to like one book, if that makes sense. I think for me, the subscription is like maybe $14, but that alone is kind of a price of one book, and having a whole library of books that you can access, it's better price compared to buying one individual physical book. And obviously there is the chance to get books from websites, if you know what I'm talking about. In general though, to like sum up the video really, really quickly, the reason why I exclusively read on my Kindle is just because it is convenient for me. I feel like when it comes to a lot of other booktubers, you tend to see them buy a bunch of books and to go out book shopping and all that jazz, which I love watching those videos, but unfortunately I could never do that because my circumstances is different from theirs and I don't have the opportunity to do that. However, with my Kindle, I'm still able to access a bunch of different books and to be comfortable and to have fun reading those books. And that's why I'm so grateful for e-readers in general, because it has given me, I guess, the chance to continue my passion for reading and to continue reading in general. Because if I didn't have my e-reader, I probably would have stopped because I wouldn't have the opportunity to again like go to the library or go to the bookstores. So if you haven't gotten an e-reader, I would definitely give it a go, give it a try, see what you think about it. I will say though, Kindle's kind of atrocious. The price jump I saw, I bought my Kindle for $180 during Christmas last year, and now all of a sudden it's like nearly $300 for a Paperwhite. And I'm like, bro, what is going on? Anyways, that's my reasons of why I exclusively read on my Kindle. Thank you guys for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys in another video. Oh, actually, please like, subscribe, and all that jazz.